Hello, gardening friends. Welcome back to Time for Gardening, the channel where every garden tells a story. If you love the timeless charm of cottage gardens and dream of a fence that's not just beautiful but also bursting with edible goodness, you're in the right place. Today, we'll explore creative and sustainable ways to transform your garden fence using vegetables, herbs, and edible flowers. Whether you have a tiny plot or a spacious yard, these ideas are designed for gardeners of all ages, especially those looking for low-maintenance, high-reward inspiration. Stay with us until the end for unique combinations, practical tips, and plenty of visual delights. You won't want to miss a single idea. Let's dig in and grow together. Transforming your fence into a classic pea and bean archway adds a whimsical and abundant touch to any cottage garden. As the delicate vines climb overhead, their sweet-scented blossoms mature into clusters of crisp pods, turning your walkway into a delightful edible tunnel. Each stroll beneath these arching greens becomes an opportunity for discovery and harvest, making everyday gardening a true pleasure. Over time, this living archway brings vertical beauty and productivity, maximizing limited space and attracting helpful pollinators. The gentle shade cast by the vines can shelter tender herbs or lettuces growing below, while the lush growth turns your sustainable garden fence into a charming focal point. It's a simple way to combine tradition and abundance, one harvest at a time. A herb spiral beside your sustainable garden fence creates a striking yet practical centerpiece in your garden design. Built from stacked stones or bricks, The spiral rises gently, providing pockets of soil for thyme, basil, oregano, and chives to thrive. With each layer, you enjoy a different burst of aroma and texture, perfect for quick harvests right outside your door. As the spiral matures, its beauty deepens, weaving together culinary utility and cottage garden charm. It encourages daily interaction as you snip fresh herbs for your meals and offers a habitat for beneficial insects. This clever design not only saves space but turns your fence line into a tapestry of flavor and fragrance, celebrating the joy of homegrown goodness. Letting grapevines twine along your sustainable garden fence evokes the romance of European vineyards, right in your backyard. Each year, vigorous vines burst with lush foliage and trailing clusters of grapes, their fruit promising sweet snacks and homemade jams. The combination of twisting tendrils and cascading leaves brings a timeless, old-world charm to your cottage garden. Beyond beauty, grapevines are practical, offering privacy, shade, and shelter for birds and pollinators. As they mature, the vines create a living screen that celebrates both sustainability and abundance. Your garden fence becomes more than a boundary. It's a fruitful celebration of tradition and renewal with every passing season. Imagine a berry fence row where raspberries and blackberries hug the base of your sustainable garden fence, painting it with seasonal color. Spring brings clouds of white blooms, followed by an abundance of juicy berries, each one a treat for both you and visiting birds. The cane's arching growth softens the lines of the fence, creating a lush and inviting border. As summer transitions to fall, the foliage glows with golden and red hues, extending the beauty of your garden well beyond the harvest. This living fence offers not just visual interest, but also fresh flavors and wildlife support. Every year, your berry row promises new delights, blending productivity with cottage charm in perfect harmony. Espaliered apple and pear trees turn an ordinary sustainable garden fence into a living wall of beauty and harvest. Their carefully trained branches form elegant patterns, each spring bursting with blossoms and each fall with crisp, flavorful fruit. This technique draws on centuries-old traditions, bringing a touch of heritage to your modern garden. Practical as well as beautiful, espaliered trees maximize limited space and make harvesting easy for gardeners of all ages. The orderly design encourages strong, healthy growth and adds structure to the landscape year-round. With every passing year, your espaliered fence matures into a fruitful and enduring feature, merging artistry with abundance. A border of lavender and blueberries beside your sustainable garden fence delights the senses with fragrance, color, and flavor. Lavender's silvery foliage and purple blooms mingle with the glossy leaves and dusky berries of lowbush blueberries, attracting pollinators and providing ingredients for homemade treats. This pairing thrives in similar sunny, well-drained conditions and needs little fuss, making it ideal for sustainable gardening. As the seasons progress, the border shifts from soft spring blossoms to rich summer berries, creating year-round appeal. Your fence becomes a living tapestry that celebrates beauty and bounty in every glance. Mounting rustic planter boxes to your sustainable garden fence transforms it into a ready-to-pick salad bar. Fill each box with a patchwork of colorful lettuces, baby spinach, arugula, and edible flowers for a cheerful edible display. Harvesting salad is as simple as stepping outside and snipping what you need. These boxes add layers of green, red, and purple to your fence line, keeping your garden both tidy and abundant. As the greens flourish, you'll find joy in the ease of growing your own food, even in the smallest of spaces. The daily ritual of gathering fresh leaves turns each meal into a garden celebration. Imagine reaching out to pick juicy strawberries growing right from towers along your sustainable garden fence. Vertical strawberry planters make the most of vertical space, filling your fence with lush leaves, white flowers, and red berries at arm's reach. Children and grandchildren will delight in finding hidden fruit among the greenery. The towers keep berries clean and easy to harvest, while their cascading growth adds a playful touch to the cottage garden. As strawberries ripen through the summer, your fence becomes a living dessert tray, inviting you to taste the sweetness of your own sustainable creation. A herbal living wall transforms your sustainable garden fence into a fragrant vertical pantry. Staggered planters or shelves host mint, sage, lemon balm, and chamomile, creating a wall of textures and scents. Every touch releases an aroma that soothes the soul and invites you to brew fresh teas or season meals. This living wall brings greenery to eye level, softening hard lines and maximizing your growing space. It's an artistic, practical, and sustainable way to enjoy a bounty of herbs, turning your fence into both a garden feature and a daily resource for healthy, flavorful living. Weaving a low willow wattle along your sustainable garden fence adds rustic cottage appeal while providing sturdy support for beans, squash, or peas to spill over. The gentle curves of the woven branches soften the garden's edges, creating a natural and welcoming border. As edible vines clamber over the wattle, the fence becomes a living, evolving tapestry, changing with the seasons and bursting with life. This sustainable structure not only recycles pruned branches, but also adds layers of texture and interest, connecting the traditions of the past with modern eco-friendly gardening. An edible flower curtain along your sustainable garden fence turns your garden's edge into a riot of color and flavor. Blossoms like calendula, borage, pansies, and violets mingle in cheerful drifts, ready to garnish salads or brighten a summer bouquet. Their blooms attract bees and butterflies, filling the air with gentle motion. This living curtain transitions beautifully through the seasons, with waves of petals and ever-changing color. As you gather blooms for kitchen or table, you'll enjoy a sensory journey each time you pass, making your fence a feast for both the eyes and the taste bud. A screen of sugar snap peas climbing your sustainable garden fence creates both privacy and productivity. Their tender shoots quickly cover wire or netting, forming a leafy barrier that yields sweet, crunchy pods through the spring and early summer. The vertical growth makes picking peas easy and fun. As the peas finish, the spent vines can be composted to nourish the soil for next year's crops, closing the loop on sustainability. With each planting, your fence transforms into a lush and useful screen. Always green, always inviting. Training cherry tomatoes up your sustainable garden fence and planting marigolds below creates a lively, colorful display that's as practical as it is pretty. The bright tomatoes and golden marigolds draw the eye, while their scents deter pests naturally. Companion planting brings health and harmony to your edible garden. This blend of color, flavor, and eco-friendly pest control embodies the spirit of cottage gardening. Every season brings new growth and harvest, as your fence becomes a showcase for the wonders of natural partnerships in the garden. A cucumber trellis along your sustainable garden fence offers an elegant solution for growing these sprawling vines vertically. Yellow blossoms give way to crisp, hanging cucumbers that are easy to spot and harvest. The trellis saves ground space and encourages straighter, healthier fruit. As the vines climb higher, the fence line transforms into a lush, edible green wall. This setup keeps fruit clean and visible, while turning a simple structure into a centerpiece of both beauty and bounty. Letting hops climb along your sustainable garden fence quickly creates a lush green privacy screen with a cottage garden twist. Their vigorous vines and dangling cones provide shade, beauty, and a sense of enclosure ideal for creating a secret garden retreat. Beyond their ornamental value, hops can be harvested for craft brewing or dried for floral arrangements and home decor. The dense foliage provides shelter for beneficial insects, making your fence both a practical and enchanting feature of sustainable gardening. Pairing climbing roses with garlic at the base of your sustainable garden fence blends beauty and function in a classic cottage style. The rose's fragrant blooms rise above, while garlic and chives deter pests and add edible value below. Together, they create a symbiotic guild that flourishes year after year. This combination brings continuous interest through the seasons: roses for summer romance, garlic for harvest, and both for a truly sustainable garden. Your fence becomes a layered tapestry of color, fragrance, and flavor that's as pleasing as it is practical. A hedge of currants and gooseberries along your sustainable garden fence offers a wealth of homegrown fruit and cottage garden charm. In spring, delicate blossoms promise the arrival of tart, juicy berries, perfect for jams or snacking. Their bushy growth softens the fence line and provides a valuable wildlife habitat. As the plants mature, their seasonal cycle adds interest all year long, from blooms to berries to colorful autumn leaves. Your living fence is transformed into a source of both beauty and nourishment, celebrating the best of small space edible gardening. Planting kale and rainbow chard in hanging pockets on your sustainable garden fence creates a vibrant vertical vegetable patch. The colorful stems and crinkled leaves bring playful energy and rich nutrition to the garden's edge, making it easy to harvest healthy greens each day. This approach makes the most of vertical space and keeps plants off the ground, reducing pests and encouraging lush growth. Over time, the pockets fill with thriving edible color, turning your fence into a cheerful mosaic of sustainable abundance. Training mini melons or small pumpkins up your sustainable garden fence gives new life to an often underused vertical space. Secure ripening fruits in mesh slings, and watch as the vines create a lush green tapestry dotted with colorful treasures. The sight of dangling melons is sure to spark conversation and delight, making your fence both functional and fun. Each season brings a new display, turning ordinary panels into a living wall of edible excitement and garden ingenuity. A pathway lined with pots of mint and lemon verbena along your sustainable garden fence invites you to savor garden fragrances with every step. The lush, aromatic leaves release their scent when touched, creating a daily ritual of sensory enjoyment as you tend your plants. These herbs thrive in containers and offer endless uses, from fresh teas to culinary garnishes. Together, they turn your garden's edge into a personal oasis, celebrating both sustainable gardening and the simple pleasures of scent and taste. Letting rosemary grow tall and upright along your sustainable garden fence creates a year-round green border that's as beautiful as it is useful. The fragrant, needle-like foliage adds texture and serves as a fresh seasoning for countless dishes. Rosemary's resilience and drought tolerance make it a staple of sustainable gardening, thriving even in challenging spots. As it blooms with delicate blue flowers, your fence becomes a beacon for pollinators and a fragrant reminder that edible gardens can offer both form and function. Anchoring the corners of your sustainable garden fence with globe artichokes or feathery fennel brings drama and unique flavor to your edible landscape. The sculptural leaves and bold forms make a stunning backdrop for smaller border plants. As these accents mature, they offer an impressive harvest while serving as conversation starters and pollinator magnets. The dynamic pairing of artichoke and fennel ensures your garden's edges are always interesting, blending bold cottage style with culinary adventure. Giant sunflowers paired with climbing beans create whimsical teepees along your sustainable garden fence, combining color, texture, and harvest in one playful structure. The sturdy sunflower stalks act as natural supports for scarlet runner beans, weaving a vibrant tapestry overhead. This dynamic duo delights children and adults alike, offering shade, fresh beans, and towering blooms. Each teepee evolves through the seasons, turning your garden fence into a celebration of growth, imagination, and cottage tradition. Guiding pumpkins or squash up a sturdy section of your sustainable garden fence creates an edible palisade that saves space and adds seasonal excitement. The large leaves and bright fruit drape gracefully over the rails, turning your garden boundary into a living autumn display. Each pumpkin ripening in the sun is a reminder of the rewards of sustainable gardening. As the seasons turn, your fence becomes a symbol of both creativity and abundance, ready to impress guests and inspire the next planting. An edge of edible wildflowers along your sustainable garden fence brings pollinator power and visual delight to your garden. Blooms like echinacea, chicory, and violets blend ornamental beauty with kitchen usefulness, supporting bees and butterflies all season. These low-maintenance natives thrive with minimal care, providing a constantly shifting display of color and texture. With every bloom, your garden fence connects tradition, wildlife, and sustainability in one joyful sweep. Lining your sustainable garden fence with alliums, walking onions, and chives adds a touch of elegance and a bounty of flavor to your garden's edge. Their tall, purple blooms rise above strappy leaves, creating an architectural border that stands out in any season. Beyond their beauty, these plants offer practical harvests for the kitchen and act as natural pest deterrents. Each year, the cycle of bulbs, blooms, and seed heads repeats, reminding you that sustainable gardening is as much about cycles as it is about color. Mounting kitchen window boxes along your sustainable garden fence turns a simple barrier into a living pantry. Fill them with parsley, basil, oregano, and trailing thyme, keeping fresh herbs close at hand for everyday meals. These boxes bring a sense of nostalgia and homeliness, their trailing greens and fragrant leaves spilling over the edges. As seasons change, you'll find satisfaction in the ease and beauty of growing your own kitchen essentials right outside your door. A sustainable garden fence edged with neat pea gravel paths keeps your garden tidy and accessible, while raised beds brim with greens like sorrel, arugula, and mustard. The clean lines and crunch underfoot make each journey through the garden a pleasure. This practical design brings order and charm to your space, guiding you from one edible bed to the next. With each harvest, you appreciate the careful planning that marries cottage beauty with sustainable function. Espaliered fig trees along your sustainable garden fence fills your garden with lush foliage and the promise of sweet, late summer fruit. The broad leaves offer dappled shade, while the branches become living artwork throughout the year. Cold hardy figs thrive in sunny spots, rewarding patience with juicy, nutritious fruit. As your fence matures, it evolves into a productive, elegant wall, proof that even small gardens can host big flavors and timeless beauty. Blending edible plants like purple basil, marigolds, violas, and rainbow carrots along your sustainable garden fence creates a patchwork of color and flavor. This cheerful border breaks up monotony and encourages beneficial insects to visit and stay. The mix of blooms and harvests means there's always something new to admire or taste, making your garden edge a dynamic celebration of cottage gardening. With every season, the border transforms, reminding you that variety is the heart of sustainable, beautiful spaces. Thank you so much for joining me on this edible cottage garden adventure. I hope you're feeling inspired to create your own sustainable garden fence filled with vegetables, herbs, berries, and flowers. Remember, every fence can become a source of beauty, harvest, and joy with just a bit of creativity and care. If you enjoyed these ideas or have your own to share, please give this video a like, subscribe for more gardening inspiration, and leave a comment below. I love hearing from you. Until next time, happy gardening and may your fences always be full of life.